For decades, America has been a protagonist of the global economy, calling the shots, setting the rules, deciding who gets to participate. But 11 countries representing half the world's population just met in Brazil and decided they're done playing by those rules. And the crazy part, most of us had no idea this even happened. Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines, where we break down current global events for and from the teen perspective. I'm your host Parth Gupta, and today I'm going to explain exactly what BRICS is, why it just became the most important thing happening in global politics, and why this affects your future more than anything else in the news right now. The thesis is simple. We just witnessed the biggest challenge to American global dominance since World War II. It's going to change everything about how the world works. So what is BRICS and why should you care? Let's start with the basics. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. But here's what makes it huge. They just added 6 more countries in 2024 and 2025. Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Indonesia. Do the math with me. That's 11 countries with billions of people. That's almost half of the world's population. They control 40% of all the money made globally and 40% of the world's oil production. But here's the key thing you need to understand. BRICS isn't just a club, it's a movement. These countries are saying, why should we use American dollars for everything? Why should American and European banks control global finance? Why should the US get to decide who can trade with whom? Think of it like this. For decades, America has been the popular kid in school getting to decide the rules for everyone else. BRICS is half the class saying, actually, we're going to make our own rules now. So just a few days ago, these 11 countries met in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The theme of their summit was basically saying, let's build our own version of everything. Here's what they actually did. They're building their own payment system called BRICS Pay, so they don't need American dollars to trade. They're expanding their own World Bank alternative that's already given out $32 billion. They're creating their own startup network to compete with Silicon Valley. And they're planning their own cultural festivals and educational exchanges. But here's the most important part. They didn't just talk about economics. They talked about everything. Climate change, global security, cultural cooperation, even artificial intelligence ethics. They're not just building an alternative economy. They're building an alternative world order. The message was clear. We don't need a West to run everything anymore. So what was America's response? President Trump threatened to put 10% tariffs on all BRICS countries. Basically he said, if you keep trying to replace the dollar, we'll make your stuff more expensive for Americans to buy. But here's why this matters to you. This isn't just about trade wars or tariffs. This is about America losing its superpower status. Most probably, America has had this massive advantage their entire life. Everyone in the world needs dollars to buy oil, to trade internationally, to access global markets. That gives Americans incredible power. They can sanction countries, control global finance, and basically make the rules for everyone else. BRICS is threatening to end that. If half the world can trade in their own currencies, buy oil without dollars, and run their own financial systems, then America becomes just another country. A big one, but not the boss of everyone else. And that's why this is the biggest geopolitical shift of our lifetime. Here's what you need to understand. This isn't just about economics. BRICS countries are offering a completely different vision of how the world should work. The American system says, we lead, you follow. We make the rules, you follow them. We control the money, you use it. The BRICS system says, let's all work together as equals. Let's make decisions collectively. Let's respect different cultures and political systems. Neither system is perfect, but the choice between them will define global politics for the next 50 years, possibly more. And here's what's really wild. Most BRICS countries aren't trying to destroy the American system. They're just saying we want alternatives. India still trades with America, Brazil still works with American companies, even Saudi Arabia maintains a security relationship with the US while joining BRICS. It's not about choosing sides, it's about having choices. So what does this mean going forward? We're entering what experts call a multipolar world. One where multiple powers compete and cooperate instead of one superpower calling all the shots. This could be amazing. More innovation, more cultural exchange, more opportunities for countries to find their own paths to prosperity. Or it could be dangerous. More conflict, more competition, more instability as different systems clash. The outcome depends partly on how American leaders respond, but it also depends on how our generation approaches this new reality. Let's get real about how this affects you personally, because it absolutely does. First, your career prospects just got way more complicated and way more interesting. If you're thinking about business, tech, international relations, or basically any global career, you now need to understand multiple systems, not just the American one. Companies are going to need people who can navigate both Western and BRICS markets. Second, your college and study abroad options are changing. These countries are investing heavily in education and cultural exchanges within their own network. There might be amazing opportunities to study in places like Shanghai, Mumbai, Sao Paulo that are completely separate from traditional Western programs. Third, the global economy you'll enter as adults will be fundamentally different. Instead of one system dominated by American companies and American rules, you'll be working in a world with competing systems. That can mean more opportunities, but also more complexity. And here's the big one. The next major global crisis, whether it's climate change, another pandemic, or economic collapse, won't be solved by America leading everyone else. It'll require cooperation between these competing systems. That's the world you're going to be leading. So here's my main point. While we've been focused on our immediate lives, school, relationships, social media, half the world just quietly built an alternative to the American-dominated global system. It isn't just happening over there that doesn't affect us. This is the foundation of the world we're going to be inheriting, changing in real time. The BRICS expansion and the Rio Summit represent the biggest shift in global power since World War II. Whether this creates more opportunity or more conflict depends partly on the choices we make as citizens and future leaders. So pay attention to this stuff. Understand how the world works because it's changing fast, and we're the ones who are going to navigate this new reality. Thanks for tuning in to Beyond Headlines. I'm Parthen. I'll catch you next time. Stay curious, stay sharp, and always think beyond headlines.